leadership at the BIA Kaya. Especially we the youth, so I bet me a boa, I bet me shaping the political discourse and the trend now across all Chrome has because I'm not sure say it should be all the time now. Win a year and a win a year and a win a year. Yeah, so what are we doing? Because the BIA say you can't about future leaders now. I started from securing today because say you're insecure today. Not today, no, you live on it bare in the hands of few individuals in the free. So we in charge. We are waiting to inherit the future. Trust me, there will be no future to inherit because I had the current trend again and now the veil of hopelessness economically. So how our international at the world stage Ghana economy sit here. Never be a nam na the economic health of Ghana, clearly you know say there is no future beer for anybody to inherit until say you be realizing the need near rally behind a common idea say there is a need for us to play a crucial role in ensuring we set up the kind of leadership I bet me I drive out this particular country. I'm a peer, baby I say peer. And yes, a social media discussion. We will never find a common path. You bet to me, a diaco because the Biamacasa countries are sure more up to them. No, they started somewhere. Or munina discussion, a discourse, and a course when they adopted a path. And then, Omodia Babi Drew Babi Omujinain. We'll go back to the history of the United States of America. Now, Korea Kwayamo fast was civil war. Tear the country apart, especially the idea say binum pesa young coffee draw and binum so say no state in so be remain independent. This whole thing a lot of your friends saying war by yama man full lose or more lives, but in the end na America go the federal way no and obia make America as a reference point, but it didn't just happen. People fought and stood, some had to be sacrificed for lose more lives. You know the popular way history surrounded the death of Abraham Lincoln and as a forum and it's whole lot among for make standing up to. They didn't just sit there and say yeah watch my things ako baby, but and those sacrifices and those people who make it a pay off. Set up the leadership line. The last time on New TV I was talking to you about China. Say in the past, in the beginning of 1800, Abra Simon Kusnet finished your friend saying what has become one of the modern way you measure whether the economy is doing well or not on a GDP. The father of your friend saying GDP, Simon Kusnet, Obi and Jumano in 1936. Now he decided to go back to use the GDP to measure economies in 1800. That is when he realized that then China was the largest economy in the world. By then they see all of a sudden they lost everything, and 50 years ago now you're kind. Your friend is saying poorest countries in the world are not yet classified China among African countries are not yet poor, but for quite some time in the last 50 years they are now your friend saying American preso as the biggest economy, the largest economy in the world. I didn't see that transformational path so it didn't just happen because Makacho said the actually almost sign internal your friends saying civil war, this tapen a revolution, tribes and then as a form because there was no central hold in China. Obia tribe will be a free so a superior man tokabe by China at that point, a crow. It me pleasure to among moon to lose all my lives. In the end, they lost about 20 million people in the Wu year as a result of that particular thing. Then the opium war kicked in as a result. They lost a lot of people, even some of the territories no more quite lose Hong Kong, could China, and now more pray the first Taiwan and as a phone because of these things. And China in adopting remain competitive in the global way. One of the key things they need a central hold that resulted in this communism adoption, and making in such a way the government in a hold firm grips. Become also go back to their past, and when they open the country to your friend saying this when they came out with this market your friends are pin China to your friends and the global market space, when how competitive they have become. So they knew where they started from, baby or more, and then there's how here more kind of leadership style no more certain. They have taken time, educated among for. They are conscientizing them. They know their kind of political ideology or more drive or more to achieve whatever that they need to. So in the next 50 to 100 years, you are not going to have any leader emerging in China who will be deviating from the path that Omwaye. That is how you do to sustain. Because communism, you may have issues. I have my issues with it and stuff. But because of their past experience, they don't want to deviate. That is why I'm setting up that line of leadership. Hold grapes and yet me sustaining the kind of economic growth. And then in the past 10 to from 2000 to when China investment even in Africa alone, but quite recently, now you know as the poorest country in the world, they've been able to recover because of certain measures of Modi and then China by Africa in the last in 20 in the last from 2000 BC and Sika or more borrow African countries, or quantifier countries, African countries are highly indebted to China. Ghana, they are number 1.6 billion. Of course, South Africa, or more oil, we are or more air, huge sums of money and more borrow. There be a Kaba, Zambia, and several African countries. Country Beguna, Sri Lanka, they not almost Bosnia and a whole lot of, because they have become one way or the other a global leader because of the economic dominance or achieve within a period or or. So the question that be a mechanism, you cannot be within a space we need focus, we need direction, we need baby a walk. Namum, why I say, oh, am I moving a month for me booby? To start with, we need to have a plan. And that is the planner, at least. So, Nkrumah, he had a plan. A plan and now all roll out in kakra. Nkrumah wasn't an angel or no ankasa on the other side and stuff, but because he had a plan, he knew the kind of direction where he was, with me, a project into the future. I even see damn crana. He was not looking at the current population, but rather or thinking about 50 years after motorway or see motorway. Even though it's for the present generation, but it will also serve the next generation 50 years. So that is the long-term planner. You set emotions, able to me drive the kind of go war. But unfortunately, over the quite some time, the whole narrative around Ghana, politics, everything, you're reducing it to partisan, your friends say activism and emotional politics to the extent that there is no national agenda, there is no plan. Enti we banner be roll out here the the other guy will come and then abandon it and then we start afresh. So when you do that and you don't have such continuity, definitely won't me achieve anything, because economic growth achieve one day. It has to be sustained and sana what me achieve said the person we see because abra Europe and ne counterpart America for this industrial revolution started the game changer Europe move away from this mechanized way to industrial activities and then it boost to the economy. They built institutions to sustain those things to ensure they don't just lose it. And the market was open up. Individual, if you are able to come out with something and they make sure you own it, that's still for motivation for a man for say I will own the right to it. I will near the deal. So there was enough incentive and motivation for people to go into the room, do research and as for because ultimately Babantino they are their bar on himself forever and never or in the bit me the home. This as a motivation for individuals to go into deeper research and as for me baby my economy but unfortunately they are no instead of it being incentive disincentive. And it's about individuals, it is about your friends and gains. It is not about long-term policy plan. You be roll out of me who say, or my no baby no say, and near be see at the global stage. All of a sudden, shocks affect the economy. You need shocks, it may absorb those things. So how do we build buffer? How do we build our economy in such a way, say whatever happened at the global stage, may have effect on our economy there. But I'm saying so yet me build the necessary your friends say structure no hand a bar sebi, you bet me absorb kakra. That is why the conversation started from industrialization. That is why a lot of people bought into that particular idea, because you go the industrial where we have enough raw material, because for quite some time now, Africa, I use China, use Africa as a harvesting point. They are harvesting almost every single natural resources to the extent say no mutu mba Ghana be too ya good year as a son not here no nyina de ko. They don't live it here. So we have all the resources here. I bet me aboa power yen to build whatever your friends say decision. I know whatever your friends say factory or there ben there we have the raw materials here. Say you better invest in those things within a short period, Ghana ever achieve something out of it. And apart from say creating sustainable job opportunities for the youth among for Benyabiano, a bit me aboa am minus no sabi at the economic space, this foreign currency fluctuations in as for high import, your friends saying export dependency na just had a crab back. I think say a conform among for Benya Jumaya. But we are not thinking about those things. Yet and I allow these guys to come and harvest these essentials needed to upgrade industries near the Nema Air Corps. I captured the last time cobalt industry in one of the DR Congo. China is their copper for cobalt, and it's a radioactive material needed in this thriving, technological way advances. They need those things. Harvested because Africa, you name the day to the sense even you gold crown up to now, your tongue at the carbon here. We are not able to turn them into anything of value. But the reason are those things, who create avenue. Ultimately turning it into something substantial or the carbon here. For instance, say cocoa and our town or raw their carbon tina where we just over set up factory. Na say melo cry na what the bay and I say ada your friend say there are a lot of things that bring free cocoa. Now what the yes I near mana who creating yuma overton bi ha amanfo benya bi ato or ton carbon tin you be able to dictate or price and as for them, but your ton near the woman nyina no na ya sign at the call to the stand say if you bottom or cry the cocoa no begum no cry no we need to import from obiho. So I know the day no e dey be na obenya free when we these things around us and now man for air and the galamsey ababa one of the things that Yankasa yedi like he said, I am funyina dom hwajimende because of sika nipa benyantino. So none of these guys are thinking about future. But going forward, we need men a more conviction, not just about partisan orientation and as for but nipa no bao ideas here or set up Ghana for the future. Because until so when you be conscious or be very conscious, you are building a country for the next generation, you will never advance. Foundation be layer neno ebe grounds amount for be leverage to heighten the economic way be person more achieve bia, but foundation nobody is laying abe pay as you go oba yenye immediately na because what we are much interested in immediate gratification. That is all that we are interested in. So the black man is never interested in 10-year term policy planner or achieve dividend in the next 10 years. We are not interested in those things. We want the what happens tomorrow. And it's the reason why we are here. So we need to have people more foresight. That is why I'm saying, we had the kind of leadership I practicing Okroma. Party politics has given prominence to individuals who may otherwise not have what it takes to be in politics. They have no clue, they have no understanding about what it takes to be a leader. But because the arena is created and all that you need is to have money and have few people following and shouting around you, that makes you a leader. Unfortunately, we have a media that also give you the needed hype out here. So I know the day, you may have somebody who may not have those requisite intelligence that will here to lead people, but because of partisan politics, offer you that particular grounds. The high pen we na we here ni nyina no ye bedi wachi abo wachi ya ye ne ba ho so no not so ho ye shemra. But what we fail to do is say so the enormity of executive powers ayedema will be as president our chrome hano. Are very dangerous if you don't take care and will hand such powers to somebody who is not sensible. And that explains the kind of doom we find ourselves in now. People are exercising discretion. And even in the arena, one would expect you never go back to the drawing board, engage stakeholders. As people take your home from a house. If you go to places like a commandant Techima and Kranza side, this we have people are more and say the tomatoes a human. One thing I common will be any chroma when NDT tomatoes or chroma saying. And as part of this planting for food and jobs, and I can't want some Greek minister and Bashini Pasika Guye, just get few people to go into a large scale tomato farming. We have in mind, they say the output, straightforward to a factory, I'll turn them into tea tomato. The intention is even to serve the people of this particular country alone. I'm sure, say, that particular problem, say, the Sike carbon, say, crati tomato, anya she, a bayoba she, that particular problem, no solve. One man for Jume at the farmland and even at the factory. That particular alone. So when you are done with that, then you move to another essential that is needed almost every day. And the poultry, abaye a nama household consumption, obia ADB. And for how long? And I ever cram cocoa a free abontin the abakruma when a man for can also go into poultry farming at a large scale. All that we have to do is to provide avenues so I bet me that process your mom. At the end of the day, they go into sales. Money is hoarding for those things will end. So as a country, that is the basis. As you started from the last time I was telling you about Vietnam. Vietnam or Maya may just sure say in the global discussion will be created because we know the story. But you move free and talk or more come for long.